Hi everyone, welcome back to RC Pie on this very sunny day. Today, this is what I'm doing at home. Messing about with panels because the whole of the MN999 has been taken apart so that I can give it a new lease of life, a new lick of paint. So I've separated everything, I've bagged all the screws as I've done it so that I know where they're going to go back. Fingers crossed that's going to actually work. I'm going to lightly connect these together and then see if I can get it all back together afterwards. So let's see how it goes, and hopefully we'll have a different vehicle at the end of this. So I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but I thought I would do the roof one tone, as it often is, and then the rest I'm thinking camo. Let's see how it goes. So we'll start off with the roof. Now the base colour for the rest of it is going to be this green, so let's give it a go. Now time to put it all back together. So starting with the doors, so the rear door and the two main doors, and just putting those liners back in and the door furniture as well on the outside. Now before I did this, I'd put before I started recording the video of putting it back together, I'd already snapped all the windows back into place. They all just push in, so that's pretty straightforward and it's pretty easy to see which one's which, so I didn't think you needed any sort of assistance with that. What I would advise is keeping all your screws separate for all of these. Put them in a little bag, write on the bag, then you'll know what you're going to use. You might notice that the door handles remain in situ because they were like heat welded in, so I didn't want to mess about taking those out. I can paint them after if I want, but I'm not that bothered, to be honest. Next, popping the grille in and then onto the headlights, which was a little bit of a pain. Bit of a pain getting them out, particularly the rear lights, because they're all stuck in with some sort of silicone, and it's in a very awkward place. The front ones are quite nice because they've got these holders, so they're pretty straightforward. Those LED holders just screw into the light buckets, so that's pretty easy, but the rear ones are a different case entirely. Now I've used hot glue gun to keep these wires in place. There are little kind of grips, little holders just up under the wheel arches for each one, so you can stick the wires down, and then a little spot of hot glue is an easy way of keeping them in. Then we're on to putting the wheel arch mouldings on. These, I found there was quite a bit of damage because they are made of quite soft rubbery plastic, so there were a few that had been like stripped during the original assembly, which is a bit of a shame, but you could always use either a slightly larger screw, or you could glue them on if you wanted to. Lots of options there, nothing technical, but get those on before you carry on, because you can't actually get those back in place once you've got the other panels together. Now I didn't bother marking which was which with these. They are all a unique shape, so you don't really need to. It's after this that it gets very important as to which order you put things together. The first step is to put the main body pieces together, the front and the back. They've just got a couple of screws that you can hold them in place with before you move on to the next bit. Next, it's working from the roof down, so attach the windscreen to the front of the roof, then the side rear panels, and then you've also got the B pillars. Make sure you get these the right way around. They kind of seem like they go either way around from the top, but they won't fit either way around onto the actual main body. So make sure those are right. These B pillars do seem a little bit strange that they are separate mouldings, but once those are in place, then it's time to flip it over and mount the roof onto the lower body. Now this has to be the most rewarding part, where you're getting the roof onto that body and all of a sudden you've got something that looks like a Land Rover, so it's getting exciting. The roof is now held on with these silver hex-headed machine screws, which seems like a little bit of a strange choice. You'd expect self-tappers, but they're there, they look nice, and they seem to do the job. So just get all those in place. Don't forget the screws on the back panels, and also don't forget to flip it over and fasten in the bottom of the windscreen to the body, as well as the bottom of those B pillars. Now it's time to attach those doors. So we've got the hinges still attached behind the door cards inside those door panels. Have those so that they're in an open position, and then you can bring in the door to each side and fasten those hinges on. Next is dropping in the interior panel. This one's a bit fiddly, and it's got a few more like location parts than most of the other pieces, so it is a bit fiddly. Make sure you get all those lined up well, but it does go in fairly straightforwardly. There are screws along the front edge, along the rear edge, and there's also a couple near the door hinges, so don't forget those. I then mounted the dashboard, that could have been done earlier, but it's really straightforward. It's just a couple of screws and very easy to access. Now, I had considered painting the interior as well, but the more I looked at pictures of real Land Rovers, the more I realised that everything is black, and I'm not that bothered about the tiny details in there. So onto the back door, get that on there with the hinges and the other furniture. Then it's just onto reconnecting all the light cables, which for once is a fairly straightforward job because the board that you're plugging them into is pretty well labelled. That left me just with my last job of fixing this bonnet, as the hinges had ripped out of the main body. All I've done is used a bit of Gorilla Glue, so wet the holes a little bit just so the Gorilla Glue will activate. Stick a bit of that on, and then once it's in place, just a bit of a wiggle to make sure it's relatively free, and Bob's your uncle. Well, my plan was to go camo, but once I started spraying it, I thought, I like that. So I've just gone with this colour. Don't know what you think. I really like it. Really nice two-tone. Once I put the extra bits and bobs on there, made it look really nice. Just need a few details like stickers for number plates and Land Rover badges, things like that. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with that. Can't wait to get it on the body. Not on the body, this is the body. On the chassis. And when I was doing that, I was thinking about this bumper. I don't like the look of it anyway. I think it exacerbates the issues of this funny looks on this MN999. And it's so poor quality that I decided it's not worth fixing it. What I had considered was chopping this bull bar section, this loop off the top, chopping it along here, reinforcing inside maybe with a piece of steel bar, and then putting some filler in and sanding it down and painting it up. But what a pain. So I had a look on eBay and I found myself this. It says ssdrc.com. Can't remember the store I got it from. I'll put a link below. It's listed as a TRX4 bumper, which is a bit strange because as far as I'm aware, the TRX4 uses square bumper mounts, doesn't it? And these are round, but this looked to me like it would do the job in here. Does it fit? Let's have a look. Yes. So I'm going to get that mounted properly, get the body on, let's see what it looks like. There you go. I think it looks pretty cool. I hope you do too. Don't know what I'm going to do to this next. Definitely going to drive it. Got a few ideas. Want to sort out the shocks. A couple of other bits on the suspension maybe need a little bit of tweaking. But we'll see what happens. See what happens. I do want to keep this as minimal upgrades because it's not about spending a load of money. So stay tuned for some running videos as well. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Catch you again on RC Pie.